Hello there, welcome back to the booth here at Pro Tour Hour of Devastation. That's Luis Scott Vargas, I'm Marshall Sutcliffe. Now that I've had a little snack, I'm ready for round number 16 here. And boy, do we have a nice one. Of course, this is where it all comes together for the top 8, and this is where a lot of pressure on our players. We've got Seth Manfield down in the feature match area. He's playing Ramanop Red. He's 11-4. Strong record, borderline for top 8. Looking good, though, with a win here as he's playing up against Shintaro Ishimura, who is on red-green ramp and is currently 12-3. With a win, in for sure. With the loss, we'll see. Let's head down. It's time for round 16 here from Kyoto. Hello and welcome back to coverage here at Pro Tour Hour of Devastation. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Luis Scott Vargas. And boy, do we have a tense feature match area here in round number 16. We've got from Japan, Shintaro Ishimura playing red-green ramp. And Shintaro is 12-3 and into the top 8 cleanly with a win. Now with a loss, Shintaro still has a shot at top 8, but is going to be into the tiebreakers. On the other side of the table from the United States and Team Genesis, it's Seth Manfield. Now Seth's record's not the same as Shintaro's here, Luis. Seth is on 11-4. What did his chances look like as far as a win goes here?
Seth's in good shape. He got paired up against Shintaro because he has the highest tiebreakers of the 11-3s. And if his tiebreakers hold and he wins, then he's in a good shape to make top 8. Though both these players are really rooting for Sam Black because Sam Black is playing at 13-2 for higher seeding and a higher potential finish. And if he defeats his opponent, Wing Chun Yam, then that frees up another slot in the top 8.
Okay, well, a good quick start here for the Ramanop Red player, Seth Manfield. 1 drop into 2 drop. He's got Bomat Courier and then Carry Zev, Skyship Raider. And he's already got some nice pressure going here on Shintaro. Shintaro's deck much, much slower than Seth's. Seth is absolutely going to be the aggressor here, looking to get out to a quick start, get Shintaro's life total down, and then finish him off with Ramanop Ruins and some of his deserts.
I like Shintaro's position here. It might not look good, but he's going to be able to kill Karizeb, take his 3 points of damage, falling to 15, and then he's got Kozilek's Return on deck.
Oh, wow. So good against this Ramanop Red deck, especially with all of the small creatures that have haste, meaning that Ishimura can actually afford to wait until Seth's turn. And look at this, more food for Kozilek.
And one reason not to wait is that Bomat Courier does have 3 cards under it, and that might be better than Seth's current slate of cards. So
yeah, he has a Shock and a Sun-Scorched Desert, so 2 cards in hand for Manfield.
And with a Falconwrath Gorger in play, Shintaro's pretty happy just to pull the trigger and get 3 cards out of the deal.
Whew. So a clean 3-for-1 for Shintaro Ishimura, and that is exactly how he needed these first few turns to go. Removal spell into Sweeper, and he's stabilized at 14. What can Seth Manfield do from here? Well, Earthshaker Kenra is going to do 2 damage and knock Ishimura down to 12, so he's not out of the woods yet. Wow, we've already got a game finished in the feature match area. Javier Dominguez is up a game over Makis Matsoukas. Both of those players are on 11-4 and looking to stay in the tiebreaker race for top 8. Wow. Look at this, just a straight 1-for-1 Kozilek's Return. This time, Ishimura knows that he may just need to deal with these threats on a 1-for-1 basis and keep his life total as absolutely high as possible. He just drew Ulamog, not really what he wants to see at this point.
Yeah.
What else does he have going on, though?
He's not as far from Ulamog as you might think. That Ramanop Ruins and the Scavenger Grounds means that Shintaro only has to get 1 desert if he wants to have Our Promise make some zombies. So that frees him up to get a Shrine of the Forsaken Gods, which gets him closer and closer to Ulamog.
Yeah, he's only 2 mana away now from just casting Ulamog, so looks like I spoke a little too soon there. And of course, he's going to garner himself 2 zombies, and You know, that's a really big deal when your opponent's playing cards like Falconwrath Gorger. Those zombies block really well. And in fact, you see the respect that they get. A shock is going to take down one of them. And undoubtedly going to trade off for the other card. And look at this. Seth Manfield has just cleared the board away, but he is fully at the mercy of Shintaro.
Shintaro's a Shrine of the Forsaken Gods away from Ulamog and just 2 normal lands away.
Right. Let's see what he's got in his hand right now. Well, he has a Hashep Oasis, so he will be able to hit his land for the turn here. And he just needs to find any land to get there. And boy, he's even got an Abrade there to make sure that no haste creatures can hit him. But you can see that Seth Manfield's game plan heavily relies on this desert sub-theme. Look at his battlefield.
And Shintaro afraid of Earthshaker Kenra becoming eternalized. So that Scavenger Ground is going to take out Earthshaker before Seth can play a 6th land.
Here's a Bomat Courier now for Manfield, and that's going to get abraded, destroy target artifact, and that's before attacks even. I think Shintaro just drew another copy of Hour of Devastation. He really just wants to see a land, though.
Yeah, he's in good shape in the sense that
Hey, that should do it, right? He can get a non-basic?
Not anymore because of Scavenger Ground.
Right, he only has a Braid in the yard now.
That, unfortunately, for Shintaro means that he can get a mountain. He can go up to 9 mana sources towards Ulamog. 1 land away. He just needs an untapped land. Play Ulamog, and that will eat the 2 Ramanop Ruins and put Shintaro fairly out of reach for Seth.
Another land off the top for Manfield. Can Shintaro find himself a land? No, it's a World Breaker, though. He'll take that. Thank you very much. Yeah, he'll just have to take a little mini Ulamog. Close enough. Actually just took out a basic mountain there. All right, well, there's an on-crop crasher. That's going to send Shintaro down to 9. Make sure we get the Exert going there, though.
And Shintaro, if he misses on lands, has Hour of Devastation. He would still rather draw a land here. And Seth's got to feel it right now. Like
oh yeah.
I think he has to be aware that Ulamog is about ready to come knocking.
This is going to be Hour of Devastation for Ishimura. He's just going to 1-for-1 with it.
And Seth deciding whether he wants to burn the World Breaker because he does have an Abrade in hand.
He does exactly that, though it will not be exiled. Does Seth have Hazaret the Fervent in his list?
He does.
So that's probably the best draw he could find at this point.
Well, Ulamog is coming.
The Big Daddy has arrived. It's dinner time. Who's hungry? There he is. Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, is going to take out 2 lands.
Just devouring them as if there were that many chips.
Oh, boy. And in response, Seth is going to go ahead and sacrifice his Scorched Ruins to get Ishimura down to 7, but that leaves him with only 3 lands total on the battlefield, and he's just going to need a string of on-crop crashers. And he didn't find it. And it looks like that's going to do it. So Shintaro Ishimura is going to pick up game number 1 in impressive fashion. Removal spell, Sweeper, and then he just used Sweepers to 1-for-1 until he could get himself up to his big Eldrazi spells. And those did, in fact, get the job done for Shintaro. He moves 1 game away from the top 8. We'll have more live Magic for you here from Kyoto after these messages.
Grand Prix events offer great experiences for players of all skill levels. These Magic celebrations are headlined by 2-day open tournaments with pro players, feature top artist signings, and host a wide range of side events. Find an upcoming Grand Prix event near you at magic.wizards.com/Grand Prix.
Looking for a challenge? Magic Online offers monthly limited and constructed events, which lead to the yearly Magic Online Championship. Download Magic Online at mtgo.com and start earning the points you need to enter.
Welcome back to the feature match area here at Pro Tour Hour of Devastation. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Luis Scott Vargas, and we've got a live look-in lined up for you here. Let's take a look at Yusuke Sasabe versus Louis Vashshow, and well, looks like Louis is getting in there pretty good.
Yeah, that ballista's made for walking.
Wow, I suppose so.
So currently a 4-4, and so even though Liliana's mastery means that the zombies are much more potent than normal, walking ballista at 4 is still pretty big.
It's a 4, Tim. Yusuke's at 15.
You don't often see Ifnir Deadlands chipping away at walking ballista, but here it is.
And that means that Luis is going to go ahead and sacrifice it. Those creatures, by the way, were not attacking. They were actually tapping for mana, thanks to Rishkar there. Probably putting counters on the walking ballista. But this one attacked. And now we've got a 4-4 versus a 3-3. Otherwise, a pretty cleaned up board. Can tell you, by the way, in our other match, the one that we don't have on camera here, Yang Wing Chung from Hong Kong with Ramanop Red defeated Sam Black in game number 1. But Sam's in a luxurious position here. He's sitting at 13-2 and actually has a loss to give to make the top 8. Yam, on the other hand, does not. He's at 12-3, so he really does need to try to pick up the win here to put himself into the top 8. With a loss, we'll see. But Sam would have to win back-to-back games to make that happen, so we'll keep an eye on that and keep you updated.
Kalitas giving the zombie deck a little more power in the late game here.
Right. See what Vashshow can find.
Attacking into Relentless Dead, not often a profitable endeavor, given that Yusuke has a lot of mana up.
Lots in his yard there. Looks like we're going to get a little oracle reading. The players are allowed to ask for the most recent rules text on any card that they want. Especially happens when somebody's playing in cards that aren't your native language. Yusuke has some Japanese cards on the battlefield there, and Louis just wants to double check exactly how each thing works. It's not uncommon at a high-level Magic tournament. It's always better to double check.
What's the verdict on asking chat for assistance while you're playing?
That is discouraged strongly.
Both for strategic and tournament rule reasons.
Correct. Chat just says, yeah, you got it. Game's over. Attack with everything. Grasp of Darkness is going to actually just sort of force the issue here for Yusuke. He's going to activate excuse me, his Kalitas there, gobbling up the Dread Wanderer, but putting 2+1/+1 counters on him in the process. Now, that is going to save Kalitas there from the Grasp of Darkness, but it does still resolve.
And so Kalitas currently a 1/2, not likely to be used for blocking duty. In fact,
Right.
Yusuke might just want to take the full 8 here.
And I do believe that he did, and that means, of course, that there's going to be a trigger from the Grim Flayer as well. So you can see why Louis was able to, or was willing to give away a removal spell that ultimately didn't do a whole lot here. It got him in for a lot of damage, and even got him a trigger there that might set up his next draw step. The downside, of course, to the play is that he's left Yusuke with a 5-powered lifelinker that can really swing the race back in his favor, depending on how Yusuke decides to approach this.
Yeah. That attack was good, and the Grimflare trigger does help set up Louis' top card. But yeah, Kalitas coming in for 5 points of lifelink damage is, one way to blunt such attacks, and especially since the zombie deck does a very good job of filling out the board here.
Yeah, it really does. I see a Dark Salvation in hand there for Yusuke, and we could see that really start to take over here.
Unfortunately for Saab, not actually enough zombies to take down the Grimflare.
They got 3.
But that still gives Yusuke 6 more points of power and toughness here, thanks to Liliana's mastery, making each of those tokens into a 3/3.
Yeah, his board has gotten quite good. Although he decides not to attack here. Maybe there's a Hissing Quagmire hidden back there, or maybe he just wants to leave it back.
I think he just wants to leave it back as a blocker.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Oh, how about Traverse the Oldenwald here?
If there's another Walking Ballista, that should just be game.
Right. Does he only have 1, or does he play 2 or more? We get to find out in real time. We've got the deck list, but it's quicker to let Louis do it. And he does have another Walking Ballista. What a disaster for Sasabe. Oh, what a beating. He stayed at 3 life. And Louis Vashshow rips the card he needs to kill him and picks up game number 1. That was the downside to not attacking, wasn't it?
Oh, that it certainly was.
Well, that means we get to go back to our main match, which is just underway here. Seth Manfield playing for a likely spot in top 8 if he can win. Shintaro Ishimura playing for sure spot in top 8 if he can win, but Seth's down a game, so he's got the work to do. The good news for Seth is that he's on the play this time, and that's really important for his deck.
And it doesn't look like Shintaro's got quite the hand he had last time, which was, headlined by a turn 3 Kozak's return.
Yeah, no red mana yet either for
And none in hand either.
Uh-oh. Those were the spells that let him win the game last time. Now he may be forced to do the old block and ping here.
The old Blocking Ballista.
That's what he's going to do. And he's going to kind of force the issue. But Seth says, my hand's okay right now. I'll just stick with that. You take 1. Or sorry, he blocked that one. Never mind. He takes nothing.
Seth doesn't have a great drop this turn. Looks like he's got Hazard the Fervent ready to go, but what he's deciding now is whether he wants to just point Incendiary Flow at Shintaro's face.
Yep.
He is going with the flow here.
He is indeed. Now, that's part of his game plan with this Bomat Courier. Is that what's going on here?
It's largely to get Hazard online as quickly as possible.
I see.
But Bomat Courier is certainly a part of that too. Seth basically has multiple reasons to empty his hand. And Shintaro stuck without red mana, stuck without any plays on 3. This is going to be a hard game for him to win.
We do have our first match finished up in the feature match here. You may have heard some cheers and shouts over the microphones. That was Javier Dominguez from Spain winning his match 2 games to 1 over Makis Matsoukas. And putting himself, he plays for MTG Bent card, by the way, Javier does. He's X-4. He's going to be 12-4.
Right.
And right in the mix for a top 8 finish here. Ooh, there's Hazaret now for Seth Manfield. And this one's really just spiraled out of control. Yeah. Shintaro Ishimura is just going to have to scoop him up here. And we're going to get ourselves a game 3. That was not much of a game. By the way, that's Javier there in the background talking to our text writer, Mark Calderaro. And take a look at our feature match area here. All right, why don't we take a look at our back table where we have Sam Black playing against Yam Wing Chun from Hong Kong. This is the Ramanop Red Mirror. Oh, boy.
And Hazaret, one of the best cards in the mirror, but somewhat outnumbered by this handler Garrison plus a Chandra.
Sam's down a game here. Now, the setup here, though, is a little weird because Sam Black is on 13-2 coming into the round, Luis, where Yam is on 12-3. They're one match win different than each other. So if Sam loses this, he's still fine for top 8.
Oh, Sam is a lock for top 8. He's playing for seeding within the top 8.
Okay, now what about for Yang Wing Chung? He's at 12-3.
So taking a look at tiebreakers here, Yang Chun does not actually have good tiebreakers compared to some of the other people with similar point totals. So what's going to happen here is if he loses, he's likely out.
Okay, so Yam needs to find a way to either win this game or win the next one, and then he will be in the top 8. He will have...
He is guaranteed to be in if he wins here.
Right.
And it looks like he's 1 point short of finishing off Sam. So he might have to go after Chandra. Otherwise Sam will be within a point of killing Yam here because the Garrison attacks for 4 points essentially by itself. Plus 2 tokens is 6 points.
Oh, he just went for Sam Black.
All right, so this is...
He's going to put him to 1, and Sam Black has to find a way to finish him off here. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I think Sam already has it here.
He does indeed, and he's just going to show him, I believe that was a collective defiance.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah. And that means that we are going to get a game 3 here, though. It's all on Yam Wing Chun. Is Sam Black going to play Dream Stealer from him here, or is Yam going to be able to defeat Sam Black and put himself in the top 8? That is the question, and we're going to answer that one here in the feature match area in round 16. We are in Kyoto, Japan. And we're in the last round of Swiss. I tell you, the mood in the room changes on this round. And it's even amplified more by the fact that this is the last Pro Tour of the season for us. So this is where the players are locking in their pro points for the next year. So if they make it to gold or to platinum, they will be that for the entirety of next year. And this is the last chance they have to make that. So the pressure is really big. I mean, these matches oftentimes dictates a player's plan for the entire next year of their life.
It's funny because it's a mix of incredibly high pressure for like these players in the feature match area, the players on the floor playing for platinum, playing for gold, playing for these different levels, playing for spots at the World Magic Cup or the World Championship. But you also have a lot of players who, at the end of this round, like they have a ton of pressure just falling off. Like they're relaxed now. So you're going to see a mix of people in the background who are super tense, rooting for their friends, trying to see what's going to happen, and people who are like, all right, whatever happened this season, we're done. It's time to reassess, take a load off, and see where we're going from here. So it's a very weird mix, especially if you walk out on the floor. You just see this. It's such contrast, too, because at one table might be 2 players, locked in a battle for a pro level, and the next table over is 2 people who aren't playing for any of those things and are like relaxed and like, all right, we're ready to move on.
I assume you've been on both sides of that in your career where there was times when you needed to have wins down the stretch and other times when you were like, hey, I'm good to go.
Yeah, certainly. It's a very, very, very different feel. In one, you're like battling for the last pro point, the last match point to, the last finish. And the other is you're like, well, it'd be cool if I did well in this tournament, but I'm already locked one way or another.
Right. And that is the way that the pros approach the long term, by the way, is, they have goals for themselves. They want to be platinum or gold primarily. As you move your way up the chain, platinum, becomes kind of the baseline goal. And then when you get to that, you want to try to get to the world championship. That's the seat that is very, very coveted among the elite pros. Of course, when we pop it in the middle of a tournament like here, where we're just nearing the end, these guys are thinking top 8. They're thinking, I want to top 8 this tournament. I want to get that on my resume. I want to get the prize money and the pro points and all of it.
Well, Shintaro's going to be on the play. And post-board, he's got a decent amount of answers to the fast red deck, but this is still going to be a close matchup. 2 copies of Chandra's defeat, somewhat key, just has a lot of 1 mana, 2 mana answers to what Seth has. And it looks like Seth is taking a mulligan.
By the way, Shintaro's been here before, it should be noted. If he were to make it in, this would actually be his second Pro Tour top 8 of his career. His other one, Pro Tour Paris, 2011.
Oh, I believe he might have been the player, because there's one player in the top 8 playing 2 Stoneforge Mystics.
Oh, the notorious 2 Stoneforge Mystic deck? Yeah, way back to 2011. He's kind of off and on the Pro Tour. He's only played in 12 Pro Tours in his career, which is a significant number, don't get me wrong, but when you go back all the way to 2011, that means that he hasn't played in all the Pro Tours in between. He's also got 3 Grand Prix top 8s on his resume as well. So Shintaro's an accomplished player.
See Seth scoping out his hand of 6 cards here.
Seth already has 2 Pro Tour top 8s on his resume, looking to pick up number 3. He's also got a pretty astounding number of Grand Prix wins. He's got 5 Grand Prix wins. That's from 11 top 8s. That's a pretty impressive conversion right there. And we're underway here. In game number 3, Seth Manfield starts things off with the Falcon Wrath Gorger before passing the turn back to Shintaro, who immediately has red mana. So that's better than before for him right away, though it does happen to be a Ramanop Ruin, though maybe that Ether Hub could help. No, he's going to cast Traverse the Ulvenwald to go get himself a basic land.
Basic forest almost assuredly.
Mm-hmm.
And Shintaro doesn't have early interaction, but what he does have is Gift of Paradise into a turn 4 Hour of Devastation. And the 3 life off gift plus Hour of Devastation should put him in a pretty decent spot here.
Okay, Shintaro's going to pass the turn back now to Manfield. This is a big turn for Seth. He really wants to get a couple of more, at least one more threat on the battlefield, preferably one with haste getting in there. Maximum pressure is what he's looking for. I think he's got a Bomat Courier here, though. Fair enough. Gets in for 3. Knocking Shintaro down. And boy, he does actually have 2 1-drops to play here on turn 2, so a good start for Manfield.
So this gift is going to put Shintaro up to 20. He's going to take 5 next turn, but Seth has to worry about Hour of Devastation. Unfortunately for Shintaro, Seth has a backup Chandra Torch of Defiance if he can hit 2 land drops in a row, and he manages to hit the first one.
Oh boy.
And Seth now, his internal debate, does he play Earthshaker Kenra? He knows Shintaro doesn't have Kozak's return. There's no way Shintaro makes that play last turn without it. Or what if he has one.
Right. You know Seth was holding his breath last turn to not have it. But boy, look at this. He's going maximum aggression. He plays an on-crop Crasher. He attacks for 8. And Shintaro went from 20 to 12 and really needs to sweep the board here. And there it is. Hour of Devastation, aptly named as the entire board is going to go away. And this was a key piece of the puzzle here for Shintaro Ishimura.
All right, can Seth draw a land? If you can draw a land and play Chandra, then things are not looking that bad for him. He drew the land.
Okay, now Seth Manfield's top 8 hopes seem to lie with Chandra Torch of Defiance. And he's going to make mana off of it, cast the Earthshaker Kenra, and get in for 2 more. Shintaro falls down to 10.
Shintaro, though, has Hour of Promise. So Shintaro's able to make 2 zombies, and Ramanop Ruins does a good job of threatening Planeswalkers. So he's got an option to deal an additional 2 points of damage to Chandra once he gets to that point.
Oh boy, this is going to be a close one. Shintaro already down to 10. Going to cast Hour of Promise.
And pretty far away from Delirium with more copies of Traverse the Ulvenwald in hand. Shintaro needs to draw World Breaker. He needs to draw something large because Ulamog would actually be great here because he's already got 3 deserts, so he can just get shrines at this point.
That's right. That Scavenger Grounds is also a desert in addition to the Ramanop Ruin. So he needs to make sure he has 3 so that he can get the 2 zombies. But he's already got that base covered, so that means he can go get whichever lands he'd like. Utility lands, like you said, the Shrine of the Forsaken God is the one that gets him the most mana, though he doesn't currently have a place to put it. That is the direction he wants to go, most likely.
Seth, no cards in hand. Seagate Wreckage, he can't quite activate it. He needs another colorless land as well.
Yeah, he has plenty of them in the deck, but none on the battlefield. Let's see what Shintaro goes and gets. No, he's deciding between just getting 2 shrines, which is what he decided. He also had a Sanctum of Ugin there that he was considering getting as well. Well, if you're a fan of Game 3s, you came to the right place. We've already had one of them finish, but we've got 2 others going besides this one in the feature match area. Of course, it's going to come down to Game 3s. It's round 16 at the Pro Tour. That's just how it works. Here's 2 zombies now for Shintaro.
Big draw step for Seth. If he can draw an action spell, he can put himself into a commanding position because those zombies are threatening Chandra, especially combined with Ramanop Ruins. And Seth's going to get to look at his card, plus potentially +1 Chandra, look at another card. So Seth's got a lot of live draws. If he draws like a Hazard, he's an off the charts favorite. If he misses though, if he draws 2 land in a row, off the Chandra plus his draw step, then the ball's back in Shintaro's court.
Let's see what he hits. Oh, he didn't show us. It was a Hazaret the Fervent off the top.
So now Seth has a big decision. He can go ahead and kill one of the tokens with Chandra, or he can just go to the face.
He's just going to go to the dome here, bring him to 8, and play Hazaret the Fervent, probably the best draw in his deck. And you can see the look on Shintaro's face. He says anything but that.
Yeah, that's the why me look. You're playing for top 8. You had this game so close.
Now what is going through Shintaro's mind?
Well, now he has to think of how much life to preserve. He's going to block Hazaret with one of the tokens. The question is, does he throw another token in front of Earthshaker Kenra? He's trying to think, what are my outs here? What do I need to draw? Hour of Devastation does do a good job on Hazaret.
Yes.
And if he keeps 1 zombie token around, he gets to attack Chandra and then cast Hour of Devastation and wipe the whole board.
I'm assuming Ulamog's still a great draw here.
Ulamog is still a fantastic draw. So Shintaro's under a lot of pressure.
Oh, yeah, he's got his not like this going on for sure. Oh, Hazaret the Fervent right off the top for Manfield. What a draw. He's really deciding. Like you said, that one zombie is going to be blocking Hazaret. The question is, does the other one block Earthshaker Kenra or not? What's the advantage to keeping it around?
I like blocking just Hazaret at this point. It's close. Drawing Hour of Devastation and being able to kill Chandra is a pretty big swing. You're taking an additional 2 points of damage. On the other hand, if you draw Ulamog, you'll much rather have blocked this way.
Okay, his life total's still at 8. Can he
here it
find
is.
an Ulamog off the top? No, that was a Hashep Oasis.
Hour of Devastation still very live. Kozak's Return is not going to do it. Seth can now attack with Hazaret, use +1 Chandra, discard whatever he draws to Hazaret, and
Finish
that will
off
do it.
Shintaro. And that's going to do it. Seth Manfield picks up the win and a big fist pump for the former world champion. He has put himself right in the mix for the top 8. Congratulations, Seth Manfield. Now, all hope is not lost for Shintaro Ishimura, right? He is also X4 going in. How bad is that for him, though, from the tiebreaker perspective? Because he is going to be in that same mix that Seth Manfield's in.
I don't believe Shintaro's going to make it. His tiebreakers are significantly lower than the other 36-pointers after this round.
And you feel pretty confident about Seth getting in. You know, nothing's for
Seth's
sure.
not a lock. He has actually the exact same first tiebreaker as Yusuke Sasabe.
Really?
And that's something that doesn't happen very often. So it's going to be close depending on how many people with 12 wins make it. So both of these players very much hoping that Samuel Black wins this match.
Right, that's going to help out, clear out some of the space at the bottom, and we're going to get a chance to see if Sam does that right now. Yan Wing Chung, though, is on the play here in this critical third and deciding game. A shock is going to take down one Bomac Courier, but Yam's still going to get in there with the other one. Knock Sam down another point. Assuming that Sam's at 18. There we go. You get a look at Yam. He does have another follow-up here as well. A Soul Scar Mage before passing the turn back to Sam. So much on the line for Yam. And frankly, not as much for Sam. Sam, you know, is playing, though, for seed, and that does give you the choice of whether to play or draw, and you can see how important that is for this deck. So he does have a significant amount at stake here for his top 8 hopes, though. I should say for his tournament hopes. He's going to be in the top 8. It's just a matter of if he's playing first or second. A good one there for Yam. He's going to get in for 3. Looks like he's starting to run out of gas here, though.
Yeah, and it looks like he may have mulliganed this game, just given how few cards he has access to. So Sam, if Sam has some more good interaction, which it looks like he does, he's going to be in position to cut Yam off of really being able to apply any pressure and then win with powerful cards like Chandra.
Yeah. Chandra's defeat takes down the Soul Scar Mage, and then Sam follows up with Karizev Skyship Raider, who can block the Kenra, though it looks like Incendiary Flow is going to take care of that problem and keep the damage flowing here for Yam, though once again he's not really able to do much else. Sam's ahead on most metrics. Life total's not one of them, but cards in hand, lands on the battlefield are. He's deciding if he wants to play maybe a Chandra here, and he does. He's just going to go ahead and take down the Earthshaker Kenra right now.
Yeah, I like that. That's the conservative play. He can lose his Chandra to another haste creature or a burn spell, but he's still going to be in quite good shape after that.
Well, it was a land off the top for Yam, and he does have Hazaret in hand, so that's not a bad draw. I believe his other card is another Incendiary Flow. Does he use it to kill Chandra?
I would imagine so.
Yeah. He's going to do that. So the board is completely clear, and Yam has set it up where if he draws a land, he can play Hazaret. What's going on the other side of the battlefield for Sam?
Oh, Sam's about to get fervent himself.
Oh, no. Hazaret the Fervent is going to smash in for 5, and being the first to strike with that puts Sam Black in a very advantageous position. Is it a land at least?
Land is what Yam
Yes.
is looking for.
It is. And he's going to attack, so here we go. The full slugfest. Who's going to blink first? May come down to chump blocking. Is that a Chandra's defeat?
It is, which not the most effective against Hazaret.
Pretty bad here.
So Sam discards a land, puts Yamung Chun down to 12, attack Hazaret, fall to 7, and that puts him in position to win the game next turn.
He's just got to go for it.
He's going to win the race by 1 point of damage.
Now, what if Yam finds himself like a blocker here?
Well, Sam has that Chandra's defeat.
And that'll do it. Now, what if it's a Bomac Courier?
Bomac Courier would
I'm
stabilize.
trying for Yam here. He's the one playing for top 8.
Incendiary Flow, another card he can look at. Yam can pull the brakes. He can just sit there with Hazaret and pass.
Yes.
At which point, Sam gets to is then forced to pass with a slight life total advantage, a slight resource advantage, and that becomes much closer. But as things currently stand, Sam does have an edge here.
Yeah, we would have seen Yam already have won the game here if he had drawn a card that allowed him to do so. Boy, there's a lot of cards in his deck, at least from his perspective, that would do that. Now, Sam,
Well, if he drew Incendiary Flow, he's certainly just smashing. The question is if he drew something like On-Crop Crasher.
no, he did draw a Bomac Courier.
He did actually draw the...
Yes, he actually did. the one creature in his deck that Sam can't kill with his Chandra's Defeat.
So now if he attacks Sam, puts Sam to 3, Sam has to top deck, and if Sam misses, Sam can't attack with Hazoret himself, and he's at 3 versus Yam Chung being at 7.
And then Yam can just start throwing cards at his face.
Well, then Yam can attack with both creatures, get 1 point of damage through, and then discard a card to Hazoret.
Wow. So there's the Bomat Courier. Yam is going to have to decide if he's okay just losing to a burn spell.
And it looks like he's not. He looks like he's going to take the slightly more conservative line and attack with just Bomat Courier. Put a card under that, chip Sam down to 7, but have Hazoret back to block the opposing Hazoret.
He also, of course, can build up a couple of cards here with the Bomat Courier and try to get back in it that way. So Sam's going to fall down to 7. It's 7 apiece with 2 Hazoret the Fervents standing off and staring at each other. Oh, and Yam might just cash in this Bomat Courier right now.
Looks like it.
He is.
But how are you supposed to draw the card when you have no card to squeeze it behind?
Yeah, what did do a very good job of very slowly looking at the cards. He found a mountain, by the way.
And one reason to continue playing lands, though, is he has Earthshaker Kenra in his graveyard, Eternalize of 6. On the other hand, keeping cards to discard to Hazoret, also powerful. This is a really close game.
I mean, if he plays a land and then draws another land, could steal one. He's going to play it. Of course, Hazoret big enough that it won't be targeted by that Earthshaker Kenra either way. Falconwrath Gorger was the draw there for black. What does that do?
Well, if he keeps it in hand, he has a card to pitch to Hazoret, but I think playing it is much safer because you might want to chump block Hazoret, assuming that something deals with your own Hazoret. Though On-Crop Crasher gets dealt with Chandra's Defeat, so Sam now looking at how he can potentially attack here. He's going to have to wait a turn. Hazoret is a potent blocker.
He passes the turn back to Yam. Players tied at 7 life apiece.
Colorless land lets Yam start using Seagate Wreckage here, which that could also be powerful.
Sun-Scorched Desert was the draw.
Wow.
For Yam. You take 1. Also, if this standoff continues for much longer, that's a convenient even life total there. And there's Seagate Wreckage being activated.
So Yam choosing not to internalize Earthshaker Kenra. Wow, this game is
This has been a real
very
game.
close.
Soulscar Mage, he's just going to play it.
Seagate Wreckage would be critical right now.
Yeah, he wants to keep that Seagate Wreckage online. With both players at precarious life totals and facing major threats on the other side. Is Sam going to use Chandra's Defeat right now? Yes.
On-Crop Crasher wins the game right away.
How about Earthshaker Kenra?
Not quite. So Sam can attack with... Well, the problem is he knows there's an Earthshaker Kenra coming from the other side. Otherwise, he could attack with both, force the Hazorets to bounce off each other. Gorger hits Yam down to 5, and then Sam plays a blocker. But he knows he dies to Earthshaker Kenra if that happens. The funny thing is, Falconwrath Gorger's text could become relevant. If Sam draws more Falconwrath Gorgers, he can discard them to Hazoret and then madness them out with the Falconwrath Gorger already in play.
Wow, that is deep. I have not seen that one here at the Pro Tour yet.
And that Seagate Wreckage is going to allow Yam Chung to see multiple cards, hit land drops, and then start really leveraging Hazoret and Eternalize Earthshaker Kenra, whereas Sam on 5 lands is going to have a lot harder time doing that.
Sam desperately searching for any way.
Just the math just doesn't add up here.
Rebattlement was a card that Yam took a look at. What is Sam going to do here? Play Earthshaker Kenra. Sam going for an attack here?
Okay, well, I think...
Does that not leave Sam just dead?
I believe it does.
Yam already has the 6 lands needed for his Earthshaker Kenra. The Gorger certainly fits the description of a card that's not big enough. Yam Wing Chun seems a little bit stunned here. So he's going to block to preserve his life total at 5, but if he just wants to tap that 6 mana, get back Earthshaker Kenra. And Sam just shakes his head because Yam Wing Chun just won the match to improve to 13-3 and put himself into the top 8. Wow, what a crazy finish to that game. I'm shocked.
Yeah, did not expect to see that.
And you can hear the cheers. Wow, I am just stunned right now. That was an insane finish to a really intense match, and it ended up going Yam's way because, you know, he was the one, again, that was playing for top 8. He had it all on the line there. Sam Black, he's going to be in the top 8 anyway, so he's going to be in. You're going to see him play tomorrow, and, hey, maybe they might even play each other again because Yam just found himself also in the top 8. There are a ton of results coming in, and everything's happening fast. You can hear people cheering in the background, and we've got a lot of updates to help get you sorted out on the top 8 and what's been going on and the rest of the races going on throughout the tournament at the news desk. But first, these messages.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the news desk. We are trying to assimilate all the ramifications of this extraordinary last round. I guess, Paul, we should start. Well, why don't we start with the man who just clinched the top 8, we believe. Wing Chun Yan is on the floor with Brian David Marshall.
Thank you so much, Rich. I'm here with Yan Wing Chung. That was an incredible match. Tell us what's going through your head as you're trying to navigate against one of the toughest players in the room.
Oh, I don't know. I was like basically blank out because when I win my match last round, I thought I could ID. And then when I see the pairings, I thought I could ID. And then when I asked Sam if we can take a draw, he he couldn't because he need the first seed to lock his platinum. So like the whole match, my brain was like completely blank. Yeah, and I don't know. I guess I was like really lucky for him to miss the thing that gave me a win. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm just like ecstatic.
So what's going through your head that you get the handshake? Your teammates go crazy. These guys go absolutely nuts. What was going through your head as you hear them cheering for you, so excited for you to get your first top 8 of your Pro Tour career?
I don't know, cause like without them, I wouldn't be like standing here, cause I might be the one slinging the cards, but they taught me like how to play the matchup. Jason Chung, he built like a really good deck, and yeah, I'm like really thankful. Yeah.
Now I've heard this. I've heard that Li Shitian been described as your brother. What's the relationship here?
Oh, cause he's like my closest friend on the Pro Tour. I watch him get top 8 like from his second to his 5th top 8, and yeah, finally he has the chance to see me, and hopefully I can hopefully I can like finish this deal and win tomorrow.
And just a little thought to put out there: if you were to win this Pro Tour, there could be as many as 6 players from this team represented at the World Championship. MTG Mint Card just putting on a clinic on the Pro Tour this year. One more player added to their ranks here. So sending it back to you at the desk, Rich.
Fantastic stuff.
So great. I love to see that. All right, let's talk for a second, Paul, about our 2 finishers, Paulo Vitor Damadurosa and Sam Party. Both chose to draw their last round, giving them 13-2-1. Is there any insight that you can offer on why they chose to do that?
Well, if you kind of looked at the pairings, there were 3 players on 39 points going into the last round, all of which got paired down. So when they got paired down, you had the option of course, playing it out or drawing. We discussed it before. Sam Black, for example, had the option to he really had a huge incentive to play it out because, of course, locking platinum. But Paulo Vitor Damadurosa and Samuel Party, if they choose to draw, the worst that they can finish, if all 3 players draw, is 3rd place. Meaning that if whichever opponent that they play in the first round, they get to go first. And that's a big game, especially in the current field where just mono red all over the place.
So, Paulo, this is his 12th Pro Tour top 8, which is...
A dozen.
Just, I mean, like, why not? Why not a dozen? It's just insane. His consistency has been unreal. What is something like this, what does that say to you about his play style?
Well, that he's much better than me at Magic, but he's better than a lot of people at Magic. But it's incredible, like the fact that just he's shown such remarkable consistency over the years. What is he averaging? Like a top 8 every 4 or 5 Pro Tours? It's completely bonkers. It's completely unreasonable, and it's very Paulo Vitor.
Yeah. Now, if you take 10 Pro Tour top 8s away from 12, you get 2, which is still 2 more than most people will ever have. And the second one is now in the proud possession of Sam Pardee. He's down on the floor with BDM.
Sam, we've decided to go with a slightly more subdued tone to this interview than our last top 8 interview.
Yeah, I don't think I'm capable of generating that kind of excitement for just about anything.
Congratulations, 2nd Pro Tour top 8 of your career, coming here in Japan. Your family, once again, I see spending time visiting with you in country.
Yeah, I just saw them for the first time since they got here. My mom mostly wants an excuse to travel, so she likes to go where the Pro Tours are. They'll come watch tomorrow, though, for sure.
Now, tell us about your process of choosing your deck for this tournament. You're not playing Mountains, and that makes you a little weird today.
Yeah, I knew the mono red deck was really good, and I was pretty interested in beating it. So we played a bunch. I thought this deck beat it. I'd played this deck a bunch before. It's pretty similar to the deck I lost in the finals of GP Omaha with, and I just love Grimflayer.
All right, he's expressed his love for Grimflayer. We tried to get Grimflayer to come out and cheer for him here, but he was busy. Congratulations again on your second Pro Tour top 8. We'll see you tomorrow. Congratulations, Sam Pardy.
So we know that Paolo Vita Damarosa and Sam Pardy are in. We knew that Sam Black was in before he sat down for that round. But who is in down the stretch of the top 8? It's time to find out, because it's time for the top 8 announcement of Pro Tour Hour of Devastation.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the feature match area here in Kyoto, Japan. It is time for our top 8 announcement. In first place, with 40 match points, from Brazil, Paulo Vitor Damarosa. And in second place, also with 40 match points, from the United States, Sam Pardy. In third place, with 39 match points, from the United States, Sam Black. In fourth place, with 39 match points, from Hong Kong, Wing Chung Yam. In fifth place, with 37 match points, from Japan, Shintaro Kurata. Three more to go. In sixth place, with 37 match points, from Singapore, Felix Leong. There were 2 players with 36 match points that made the top 8. In 7th place, from Japan, Yusuke Sasabe. Only one left. In 8th place, with 36 match points, from the United States, Seth Manfield. Ladies and gentlemen, your top 8 for Pro Tour Hour of Devastation.